Hollywood's golden age, spanning from the 1910s to the 1970s, coincided with an era when homosexuality and bisexuality were viewed as social taboos. During these years, countless actors and actresses whose sexual identities didn't conform to societal norms were forced to hide their true selves behind the curtain. Living under the threat that exposure of their private lives could destroy their careers in an instant, these figures nevertheless shaped cinema history forever, despite all the difficulties. Today, we'll take a look together at the stories and tragic endings of 20 stars who lived secret lives in old Hollywood. Rudolph Valentino, the legendary silent film star of the 1920s, became a worldwide heartthrob with his romantic roles. However, in the shadow of his fame, there were constantly whispered rumors about his sexuality. His first marriage to actress Jean Acker drew attention when it ended immediately after the wedding night. His union with his second wife, Natasha Rambova, also didn't last long. Valentino's close relationships with men, particularly with French actor Jean Acker, led to speculation. Although biographers Emily Leader and Alan Ellenberger agree that Valentino was most likely heterosexual, documents in writer Samuel Stewart's archives pointed to a sexual relationship. Although Valentino denied being gay, his effeminate mannerisms continued to fuel the rumors. Despite his efforts to prove his masculinity, the whispers never completely died down. Liberace, the flamboyant and world-famous pianist, kept his sexuality as a tightly guarded secret throughout his life. Despite widespread rumors, he never openly admitted to being gay. Instead, he obscured his true identity with stories about his friendships with women and supposed romantic connections, constantly projecting a heterosexual image. He even fed this perception by talking about his ideal female partner in articles like "Mature Women Are Best." TV's most popular pianist explains what kind of woman he'll marry. Behind the curtain, however, Liberace had relationships with men, most notably Scott Thorson, who later sued him. Although rumors spread and tabloid stories hinted at the truth, Liberace maintained his public persona until he died from AIDS complications in 1987, and the world was left still questioning the man behind that dazzling smile and sequined suits. Will Gere, known for his role as Grandpa Zebulon Walton in the Walton series, lived a life that couldn't be seen from the outside. In the 1930s, he had a romantic relationship with gay rights activist Harry Hay. However, he eventually decided to marry actress Herta Ware and have children. Although his marriage to Ware ended in 1954, Gere had always been open with his wife about his sexual orientation. His activism in both Communist Party and gay rights circles was known among certain communities. Although Gere kept his sexual orientation largely secret throughout his life, his love for Hay and his commitment to both social causes and his family were defining elements of his life. Gere passed away in 1978, leaving a legacy both in front of and behind the curtain. Cesar Romero. Cesar Romero, famous for his role as the Joker in the 1960s Batman series, was one of Hollywood's classic Latin lovers. However, Romero never married, and there were long-standing rumors about his sexuality. Although he was linked to several female stars, he was widely believed to be gay, but he never openly confirmed it. Romero maintained his privacy regarding his personal life and continued to be loved for his elegant, charismatic roles. Sir John Gielgud, with a career spanning over 6 decades, was one of the most respected actors in British theatre. Although his sexuality was largely an open secret in the theatre world, he kept it private for most of his life. In 1953, he was arrested on charges of importuning for immoral purposes, a charge typically used against gay men. Despite the scandal, Gielgud continued to work and became a respected figure known for his impressive performances on both stage and film. Tony Randall, known for his role as Felix Unger in The Odd Couple, faced rumors about his sexuality throughout his career. Despite being married to his first wife for 50 years, Randall's effeminate mannerisms and personal preferences led to speculation about his orientation. After his wife's death, Randall surprised many by marrying a much younger woman and having 2 children. But the homosexuality rumors continued throughout his life. Raymond Burr, known for his iconic Perry Mason role, was another actor whose sexuality was a well-guarded secret throughout his life. Burr carefully created a public image by fabricating stories about a supposedly deceased wife and child. In reality, however, he had long-term relationships with men. His 35-year partnership with Robert Benavides only became public after Burr's death in 1993. Montgomery Clift, the Hollywood heartthrob known for films like A Place in the Sun and From Here to Eternity, struggled with his sexuality throughout his life. Clift was known to have had relationships with both men and women, and his internal battles with his identity contributed to a turbulent personal life marked by substance abuse. Although he never came out publicly, close friends, including Elizabeth Taylor, were aware of his sexuality. Cliff died in 1966, leaving a legacy as one of Hollywood's most talented and troubled stars. Merv Griffin, the famous talk show host and creator of Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, never openly confirmed it despite frequent rumors that he was gay. Despite long-standing speculation and several lawsuits that pointed to his homosexuality, Griffin maintained a tight-lipped policy about his private life. He had close relationships with both men and women, but his sexual orientation was only whispered about behind the curtain. Griffin passed away in 2007, leaving behind a past where his legacy in television overshadowed the mystery of his private life. George Nader, the handsome leading man of the 1950s, saw his career take a hit when rumors about his sexuality began to surface. Although he never came out publicly during his Hollywood career, Nader later lived openly with his partner Mark Miller for more than 55 years. His close friendship with Rock Hudson also fed speculation. Nader stepped away from acting in the early 1970s, focusing on writing instead. He stayed out of the public eye and lived quietly with his partner until his death in 2002. Rock Hudson, one of Hollywood's most iconic leading men, lived his entire career hiding his homosexuality. In an era when being openly gay could destroy a career, Hudson carefully maintained his image as a heterosexual heartthrob, even entering into a marriage of convenience with his secretary. Behind closed doors, he had relationships with men, but his sexuality didn't become public until he was diagnosed with AIDS in 1984. His battle with the disease brought attention to the AIDS epidemic and shattered the illusion of the perfect Hollywood leading man. It became a turning point in society's view of both the disease and the LGBTQ+ community. Hudson died in 1985, but his story continues to be a turning point in Hollywood history. Kerwin Matthews, known for his roles in fantasy adventure films like The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, kept his private life very quiet. Although he never openly addressed his sexuality, Matthews lived with his partner Tom Nicole for more than 46 years. After leaving Hollywood in the late 1960s, Matthews moved to San Francisco and lived there as an openly gay man. He preferred to keep his personal life out of the spotlight, but those close to him were well aware of his long-term relationship. He died in 2007. Jack Cassidy. Jack Cassidy, the versatile actor known for his roles on stage and screen, had a turbulent personal life. While married to actress Shirley Jones, rumors spread about Cassidy's bisexuality. He was known to have had relationships with both men and women, and his personal struggles, including problems with alcohol, placed a heavy burden on his career and family life. Cassidy's sexuality was a poorly kept secret in Hollywood, but he never openly addressed it. He died tragically in a house fire in 1976, leaving a complex legacy as both an attractive leading man and a troubled individual. Paul Lynde. Paul Lynde, famous for his sardonic humor and appearances on Hollywood squares, was an iconic comedian with an openly exaggerated personality. Although he never officially came out, Lynde's homosexuality was widely known in Hollywood, but he kept it hidden from the public to protect his career. Behind the curtain, he struggled with personal demons for most of his life, including alcoholism that may have been connected to living in the closet. Lynde's sharp wit and flamboyant personality made him stand out in the comedy world, but his private life remained largely hidden until his death in 1982. George Maharis, star of the popular 1960s series Route 66, kept his sexuality hidden at the height of his fame. Maharis was arrested in 1967 for lewd conduct with another man in a public restroom. This incident damaged his career. Although he never came out publicly, the arrest exposed his sexuality to the public. Despite the setback, Maharis continued to work in television and film, but his career never fully recovered from the scandal. In subsequent years, he lived a more private life. Charles Gray, perhaps most famous for his role as the villain Blofeld in the James Bond series and as the criminologist in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, lived a relatively private life. Although Gray never openly discussed his sexuality, it was widely understood in the industry that he was gay. He remained a reserved figure off-screen and avoided the spotlight on his private life. Gray passed away in 2000, leaving a body of work that included many memorable roles in film and television. Roddy McDowall, known for his roles in Planet of the Apes and How Green Was My Valley, was a beloved actor who maintained a level of privacy about his personal life. Although he never came out publicly, McDowall's sexuality was an open secret in Hollywood, and he had close friendships with many people in the LGBTQ+ community. McDowell never married and preferred to keep his relationships private. His professionalism and gentle nature earned him respect throughout his career, and he remained a valued figure in Hollywood until his death in 1998. Nigel Hawthorne, the esteemed British actor known for his role in The Madness of King George and the television series Yes, Minister, only openly acknowledged his sexuality later in life. He lived with his partner Trevor Bentham for more than 20 years, but kept their relationship secret for most of his career. Hawthorne's acknowledgement that he was openly gay only occurred after he was outed by the British press during the 1995 Academy Awards. Hawthorne handled the situation with grace, and his acting legacy remained untarnished. He died in 2001. James Coco, the character actor known for his comedic roles in films like Only When I Laugh and The Muppets Take Manhattan, was another actor who hid his private life from the public. Although Coco never came out publicly as gay, it was well known in his social circles. He had a successful career in film and television, and his exaggerated personality made him an unforgettable figure in Hollywood. Coco passed away in 1987, leaving a legacy as a versatile and beloved artist. Dick Sargent, known for his role as Darren Stevens in Bewitched, came out as gay in 1991, becoming one of the few actors of his era to do so publicly. After keeping his sexuality hidden for years, Sargent became an LGBTQ+ rights advocate, focusing particularly on raising awareness about HIV/AIDS. His coming out was a significant moment in Hollywood, as he used his platform to support the gay community. Sargent died from prostate cancer in 1994, but his courage in being open about his sexuality later in life made him a pioneer for others in the industry. These 20 stars represent just a fraction of the countless LGBTQ+ individuals who shaped Hollywood's golden age while living in the shadows. They gave us unforgettable performances, created cinematic magic, and left indelible marks on entertainment history, all while carrying the burden of hiding their true selves. Their stories remind us of the tremendous price paid by those who came before, living in fear of exposure and rejection in an era when authenticity could cost everything. Today, as we celebrate their contributions to film and television, we also honor their courage. Whether they lived their entire lives in secrecy or found the strength to come out in their later years, each of these individuals paved the way for greater acceptance and visibility. Their struggles and sacrifices helped create a world where LGBTQ+ actors can now live and love openly, bringing their whole selves to their craft. The legacy of these hidden stars serves as both a reminder of how far we've come and a call to continue fighting for a world where no one has to choose between their identity and their dreams. Their stories will never be forgotten, and their impact on both cinema and society will continue to resonate for generations to come.